Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, Tree Funk. Thinking right out here in my lab. What I do for you? Yeah, the sun is up now. I'm getting the sunglasses, and I gotta get this lesson in. This one's gonna be a quick one with information again, but I'm making sure for you. Let's do it. Right, listen. 25 rules to live by. Storytelling. Story with a message. Message and story for life. I give life lessons. You tune, receive them. Hope they're working out for you. Number 7, we got a good thing going. Let's ride. Right thinking mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is to get you there. Your goal, your objective is to get there. With the help from me, we should make that possible. Work with me, I'll take care of you. I do what I do for you. Let's go. So I asked the question, do you know you? My goal is to get you to do just that. So if you have a problem with that, it's rhetorical. But if you don't know, check me out. I'm here every day to help you do just that. Let's go. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not. It's simple. You teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. I appreciate you. Stay tuned. I got you. A person who knows not and believes and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows, excuse me, and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons, they reside in you. Right thinkers know thyself. Until my out, be true. Today, I'm wrapped up. There's no less. I've been riding it out, stretch it out rather than do one long show because I know your attention span like a mosquito thing. Not too long. So I got a nice little short one for you to wrap it up. This one title is The Mind of an Enlightened Person, aka Right Thinker. You guys. This is what you'll end up being when you do the things I'm trying to get you to do to know thyself. So I ended up with showing you how a spiritually ignorant person is. It says if you worried about if your elation and depression prevent the mind from perceiving the divine self as the innermost essence of the mind as well as the essence of creation, this is the state known as or referred to as spiritual ignorance. I'm going to take you from that and get you spiritually enlightened. So then you will be an enlightened person. That's my goal for all my right thinkers. Let's go. When there is a longing to have worldly experiences, there can be little spiritual discovery. Why? Because this requires focusing, concentrating one's attention where? On the divine, within and as well outside of yourself, meaning you and nature. Understand that. So therefore, you must understand that the witnessing consciousness, which is I'm in the hidden one. He sees and knows all. So he's the witnessing consciousness. Watch this within you, which is what? He is aware of your thoughts. Our pastor used the phrase, God knows your heart. So that goes to that concept. He knows your thoughts, he knows your feelings, he knows your desires, all those come from the heart, etc. And watch this, is at the same time separate from them when you completely realize your separation from what? The contents of the mind and the various states of consciousness and the physical body, what happened? You will gain in what? An awareness of who you really are, aka knowing thyself, spiritual awakening. And this is what? The true goal of all right then philosophy of life, to discover your what? True identity and the fulfillment of life, aka to know thyself and be fulfilled in yourself. Now, when a human being becomes what? An enlightened sage, there is what? An awareness of infinite expansion and oneness with all things. I just told you, everything also from the, there you go. So this is what it's telling you. This feeling, watch this. This feeling transcends what? The awareness of the body and mind through these, though these, this feeling transcends the awareness of the body and mind, even though these continue to what exist even as a awakening in the lucid dream. When you a lucid dream, that means you've woken up while you're dreaming and knowing that you're in the dream state. Okay, that's what this is like. And it continues after one has what? Woken up mentally within the dream, and an enlightened person sees what? All things as part of him or herself, therefore feels no need, no desires in objects or the company of any person in particular to make them happy. Love the opposite sex, but that's not gonna make me happy forever. So if I don't have it, I ain't missing it. I ain't beat for it. Some people can't stand to be by themselves. So they gotta have somebody to be with. I ain't that type of person. And once you become knowledgeable self, you be that kind of person too. That's all. You won't be needy and clingy. Okay. Moving on. On the other hand, an enlightened person, aka right thinker, also what does not feel a need to keep objects or persons away from themselves to be happy. Again, not doing, no, I'm just saying moderation, equanimity, equal balance. You like what you like, that's fine, but it should not go to overkill. And watch this. And this is true freedom from what? The world. That's the idea. Free yourself from worldly stuff. That's all. Don't let that be what runs you, what moves you. Free yourself from the world as well as what? From the cycle, here we go, of birth and death, aka reincarnation. I mean, if you don't get enlightened, you're going to be back in the wash again. When you enlighten, you stop in that process. Why? Going home. No more recycle. That's the concept. Watch this. Now, what happens? This is because there is what? No more unconscious desires, hidden desires that ego keeps, little. No, there's no more of that. Watch this. Why? No more unconscious desires or illusions which will impel the mind to what? Continue seeking happiness and satisfaction from the realm of relative existence, aka the astral or the physical plane, which is here now, which are governed by what? The triad of consciousness. This is no, this can be, there is no ignorance in the mind about what? Their true identity. Therefore, there is no desire to be an individual, me, I, ego, seeking to fulfill egoistic needs or experiencing the disappointments and the sorrows of that individual existence, going through the life's ups and downs. You're no longer part of that. You're free. You're liberated, as they say. An enlightened sage does what? Lives in constant, this, I call it God conscious. It says lives in constant awareness that all levels of mental experience, waking, dream, and the dreamless state, conscious, subconscious, and the unconscious state, are nothing but what? Ripples or vibrations in the ocean of pure consciousness. They are wonderful display of what? Multiplicity and the myriad of premonitions of infinite possibilities. However, a sage realizes that they are fleeting and illusory like a dream. So a sage what? Does not allow attachments to grow in the mind, nor harbor illusions about objects or people. Just concern myself with a lot of stuff. Why I don't need none of it. A sage, watch this, is who? The supreme witness of the spectacle of the world. I'm seeing, I'm observing what's going on. I'm not partaking in none of that nonsense. Having discovered what? My reality, and that transcends all of that. Being a, well, excuse me, being anchored to that reality, nothing in the world can hurt me or add anything to or to my feelings of what? Contentment. Hotep. I reached the state of supreme peace within myself. With knowledge of self, you can do that. With spiritual enlightenment, you can reach that level within yourself. Everything else going around you is irrelevant. Why? Because when it come down to it, it's going to be just you anyway. You are what? The master of your destiny. I create my own world. I live within my own framework. Why? I do just what works for me. I could care less about other stuff, sports stuff that don't really. I don't care about none of that. Could care less. At one time, I had to read sport, check ESPN, see who playing. All I'm concerned with is getting better at being myself, enlightening those who want the knowledge. I spend my time worthwhile doing something I think is worthwhile. That's the difference. That's all. No different than anybody else. This is what I do for you. Where we at? Now, when you become Hotep, I call my Christian family blessed out with the knowledge of self, which they call Jesus Christ. Well, I ain't got a problem with that, but they're living. That's the difference. When you live in what your beliefs and what your tenets are for what you follow, that's not a problem with you at all. I respect nothing but you doing what you're doing, what you believe. Not a problem with you at all. Now let me wrap this up. Now, as an aspirant, your task, right, thinkers, is what? Control your mind by what? Engaging in the various practices outlined as I given to you here. With patience, perseverance, you must move forward on what your quest for what your own self-discovery, aka know thyself, through what? Studying the teachings, reflecting upon them when constantly, and meditating on them when as often as possible. That's the foundation. You can follow that and you will be just fine. Break it up, size up any way you want, but when you do that, you will prosper. Where we at? If these practices, I'm saying that, but I can keep reading. If these practices are undertaken as outlined here, you will what? Eventually be able to what? Control your mind and then discover the hidden inner realms within it, leading to what? Discovery of who? The supreme self, your true identity. Now, I hope you got that. Oh, I'm not done yet. I'm almost done. I got one more phrase to read, and this is going to be a quick lesson. Hope you enjoyed it. I think it was pretty informative. Right here, it says consciousness and the three states. Watch this. The mind, being builder, does use the fire as tool for the construction of all things. Right? The fire in the beginning. But that of man, watch this, only for things on earth. Stripped of its fire, awareness of the innermost self, meaning your consciousness, you don't know who you are, the mind on earth can what? Not make things divine. We're made in God's image, but we can't make divinity. We can be part of it and experience it. That's the difference. Watch this. And make things divine, for it is what? Human in its disposition. When God came into the flesh, he gave up all his power to be in his creation, suffered through it. And such a soul, watch this, whom when from the body free, it has fought what? The fight of piety to know who? God. Getting spiritual enlightenment, going through the rigors of practicing routine, following my out philosophy, you're doing things you need to do to what? Know God, aka yourself. And watch this, to do wrong, excuse me, and to do wrong to no one. Why? Such souls become entirely what? Mind, aka pure conscious. That's going back home to your maker. Bam. Whereas the empires, the ignorant souls, what? Remain in its own essence. Why? Conditioned, chastised by who? Its own self, leading itself to what? Suffering by what? Its own will of ignorance, not knowing thyself. And the side for set, which is the ego, is a man with a hatchet to his head. Need I say more? If you're egotistical, you're self-destructive. That's what the ego is. That's what it does. You need to understand that. And if you don't, you can continue to self-destruct. Hope you enjoyed the lesson.